What's going on, guys? Breaking news. OpenAI just released their new model O0. And this is the strawberry model that everybody has been talking about it and anticipating. And in today's video, we're going to do a deep dive into exactly what you need to know so you can get caught up with this model and know what you need to do in the next few days, 2 weeks, 2 months to actually start implementing this new model and new paradigm of how AI is now working. Let's dive right into it. All right, guys, so I know there's so many people uploading videos and tweets and all this stuff about strawberry, and I would encourage you to continue learning as much as you can. Now, why is this video a little bit different? Well, I spent the last few hours trying to compile all the information I could find as of now on this topic and formulate kind of like a thesis based on what we're seeing as what this will actually mean for AI, as well as for developers, business owners, and just anyone that's using this these types of models, or really just anyone in the world, because this is going to affect everybody, right? So in today's video, we're going to talk about what is O1, why it's important, how does it perform in terms of versus other models, as well as previous models with OpenAI, how it works. We're going to talk about its pricing, and the video may be a little bit long, but I'm going to try my best to speed run through everything that you should know and only go through the most important information that will help you right now. And this in-depth document that I made and compiled over the last few hours with pretty much everything I could find around this topic up to this point is going to be in the description down below, absolutely for free for you to take a look at, download, learn from, use, whatever the case may be. So yeah, if you get some value here, then just hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, but let's dive right in. Also, guys, for certain parts where you may need to just passively listen, you can put it to 2 times or 1.5 times speed. And maybe for parts where it's a little more technical, or you want to learn things and fully digest things, then you can put it to normal speed. Okay, so before I actually go through this document, let's take a look at the official OpenAI blog post, which is called Learning to Reason with LLMs. So I'm not going to go through it all. I'm just going to go through some of the most important parts, but let's start right now. So we are introducing OpenAI O0, a new large language model trained with reinforcement learning to perform complex reasoning. O1 thinks before it answers. It can produce a long internal chain of thought before responding to the user. OpenAI O1 ranks in the 89th percentile on competitive programming questions, Codeforces, places among the top 500 students in the US in a qualifier for the USA Math Olympiad, AIME, and exceeds human PhD level accuracy on a benchmark of physics, biology, chemistry, GPQA. While the work needed to make this new model as easy to use as current models is still ongoing, we are releasing an early version of this model, OpenAI O1 preview, for immediate use in ChatGPT and to trusted API users. Okay, so if you're on tier 5, you can use it in the API. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing some videos using Cursor with it in the not so distant future. So our large scale reinforcement learning algorithm teaches the model how to think productively using its chain of thought in a highly data efficient training process. We have found that the performance of O1 consistently improves with more reinforcement learning, train time compute, and with more time spent thinking, test time compute. The constraints on scaling this approach differ substantially from those of LLM pre-training, and we are continuing to investigate them. So this is a completely new paradigm of actually how you can improve LLMs. So here's the different graphs right here. Here's some evals. So to highlight the reasoning improvement over GPT-4o, we tested our models on a diverse set of human evals and ML benchmarks. We show that O1 significantly outperforms GPT-4o on the vast majority of these reasoning-heavy tasks. Unless otherwise specified, we evaluated O1 on the maximal test time computing setting. Okay, so O1 greatly improves over GPT-4o on challenging reasoning benchmarks. Solid bars show pass at 1 accuracy, and the shaded regions show the performance of majority vote consensus with 64 samples. Okay, so we can see competitive math right here, competitive code, and then PhD level science questions. And then here we see the ML benchmarks as well as the PhD level science questions. And we see GPT-4o right here. And then we see O1 improvement. Okay, so pretty cool. You can see that it is way better at the math questions. We can see the chemistry, it's way better. Physics, biology, LSAT, it's way better. So pretty interesting stuff. In many reason-heavy benchmarks, O1 rivals the performance of human experts. Recent frontier models do so well on math and GSM-8K that these benchmarks are no longer effective at differentiating models. So they had to make new benchmarks because LLMs, AI is getting so smart. And we evaluated math performance on AIME, an exam designed to challenge the brightest high school math students in America. On the 2024 AIME exams, GPT-4o only solved an average of 12%, so 1.5 out of 15 of the problems. O1 averaged 74%, 11.1 out of 15, with a single sample per problem. 83%, 12.5 out of 15, with consensus among 64 examples, and 99%, 13.9 out of 5, when re-ranking 1,000 samples with a learned scoring function. A score of 13.9 places it among the top 500 students nationally and above the cutoff for the USA Mathematical Olympiad. We also evaluated O1 on GPQA Diamond, a difficult intelligence benchmark which tests for expertise in chemistry, physics, and biology. In order to compare models to humans, we recruited experts with PhDs to answer GPQA Diamond questions. We found that O1 surpassed the performance of those human experts, becoming the first model to do so on this benchmark. These results do not imply that O1 is more capable than a PhD in all respects, only that the model is more proficient in solving some problems than a PhD would be expected to solve. On several other ML benchmarks, O1 improved over the state of the art. With its vision perception capabilities enabled, O1 scored 78.2% on MMMU, making it the first model to be competitive with human experts. It also outperformed GPT-4o on 54 out of 57 MMLU subcategories. Chain of thought. Similar to how a human may think for a long time before responding to a difficult question, O1 uses chain of thought when attempting to solve a problem. Through reinforcement learning, O1 learns to hone its chain of thought and refine the strategies it uses. It learns to recognize and correct its mistakes. It learns to break down tricky steps into simpler ones. It learns to try a different approach when the current one isn't working. This process dramatically improves the model's ability to reason. To illustrate this leap forward, we showcase the chain of thought from O1 preview on several difficult problems below. So I would definitely suggest checking some of these out. You have cipher, coding, math, crossword, English, science, safety, health science, and you can really see GPT-4o how it answers versus how O1 answers, and you can see the chain of thought right here and really how in depth it goes through planning this out, you know, taking the input, overall task, constraints, approach, implementation steps, understand potential issues, write the skeleton, and then boom, then it, you know, generates the answer. So a lot more in depth. And yeah, pretty crazy stuff. So coding, for all the devs out there, this is definitely something you're going to want to listen to. So we trained a model that scores 213 points and ranked in the 49th percentile in the 2024 International Olympiad in informatics by initializing O1 and training to further improve programming skills. This model competed in the 2024 IOI under the same conditions as the human contestants. It had 10 hours to solve 6 challenging algorithmic problems and was allowed 50 submissions per problem. For each problem, our system sampled many candidate submissions and submitted 50 of them based on a test time selection strategy. Submissions were selected based on performance on the IOI public test cases, model generated test cases, and learned scoring function. If we had instead submitted at random, we would have only scored 156 points on average, suggesting that this strategy was worth nearly 60 points under competitive constraints. With the relaxed submission constraint, we found that the model performance improved significantly. When allowed 10,000 submissions per problem, the model achieved a score of 362.14, above the gold medal threshold, even without any test time selection strategy. Finally, we simulated competitive programming contests hosted by Codeforces to demonstrate this model's coding skills. Our evaluations closely matched competition rules and allowed for 10 submissions. GPT-4o achieved an ELO rating of 808, while in the 11th percentile of human competitors. This model far exceeded both GPT-4o and o1. It achieved an ELO rating of 1807, performing better than 93% of competitors. So we see Codeforces ELO percentile, we see GPT-4o, o1 preview, o1, and then o1 IOI. So pretty crazy stuff. All right, so here we have about safety, hiding the chains of thought. So we believe that a hidden chain of thought presents a unique opportunity for monitoring models. Assuming it is faithful and legible, the hidden chain of thought allows us to read the mind of the model and understand its thought process. For example, in the future, we may wish to monitor the chain of thought for signs of manipulating the user. However, for this to work, the model must have freedom to express its thoughts in unaltered form. So we cannot train any policy compliance or its user preference onto the chain of thought. We also do not want to make an unaligned chain of thought directly visible to users. Therefore, after weighing multiple factors, including the user experience, competitive advantage, and the option to pursue the chain of thought monitoring, we have decided not to show the raw chains of thought to users. We acknowledge this decision has disadvantages. We strive to particularly make it up by teaching the model to reproduce any useful ideas from the chain of thought in the answer. From the O1 model series, we show a model-generated summary of the chain of thought. All right, so they won't be allowing you to see that actual chain of thought. And then conclusion, O1 significantly advances the state of the art in AI reasoning. We plan to release improved versions of this model as we continue iterating. We expect these new reasoning capabilities will improve our ability to align models to human values and principles. We believe O1 and its successors will unlock many new cases for AI in science, coding, math, and related fields. We are excited for users and API devs to discover how to improve their work daily. So pretty interesting stuff. All that's going to be linked down below, as well as it's linked in this document. So you can just check out the document and you'll get access to all that. You can check it out too on their site. Take a look at some of those examples I was going through. And let's take a look at what people are saying on Twitter and kind of my thoughts on this as well. So here we have Sam Altman, basically just tweeting out, here's O1, a series of our most capable and aligned models yet. Boom, the article we just read through. O1 is still flawed, still limited, and it seems more impressive on the first use than it does after you spend more time with it. Okay, so, kind of downplaying, not really downplaying because it isn't perfect, but, this definitely this is just the start. This is like still the dumbest it's ever going to be. It's going to continue getting better and better, but here he goes on to say, but also it's the beginning of a new paradigm, AI that can do general purpose complex reasoning. O1 Preview and O1 Mini are available today, ramping up some number of hours in ChatGPT for Plus and Team users and our API for Tier 5 users. All right, he goes on to say a couple more tweets. The link to that Twitter thread is here. Then he also goes on to say, no more patience, Jimmy, which is reference to Jimmy Apples. If you've been in the AI space or the AI news space for the last month, for the last year, Jimmy's basically been talking about Strawberry and, basically referencing exactly when this model is going to drop. So he's like a certified leaker that always has kind of insights in regards to OpenAI. Here we have OpenAI's tweet when they're basically saying they're releasing a preview of OpenAI. Then we have Jason Wei. He was also in some of the demo videos for O1 that I'll play later on here. But he goes on and says, super excited to finally share what I've been working on at OpenAI. O1 is a model that thinks before giving the final answer. In my words, here are the biggest updates to the field of AI. See the blog post for more details. 1, don't do chain of thought purely via prompting. Train models to do better chain of thought through RL, reinforcement learning. 2, in the history of deep learning, we have always tried to scale training compute, but chain of thought is a form of adaptive compute that can also be scaled at inference time. Results of AIME and GPQA are really strong, but that doesn't necessarily translate to something that a user can feel. Even as someone working in science, it's not easy to find the slice of prompts where GPT-4o fails. O1 does well, and I can grade the answer. But when you do find such prompts, O1 feels totally magical. We all need to find harder prompts. And then 4, AI models chain of thought using human language is great in so many ways. The model does a lot of human-like things like breaking down tricky steps into simpler ones, recognizing and correcting mistakes, and trying different approaches. Would highly encourage everyone to take a look at the chain of thought examples in the blog post, which we just covered. The game has been completely redefined. Link to that tweet right here. And then Andrew Main, I've had access to OpenAI's O1 for several weeks. My advice on using it: 1, don't think of it like a traditional chat model. Frame O1 in your mind as a really smart friend you're going to send a DM to solve a problem. She'll answer back with a very well thought out explanation that walks you through the steps. 2, write your prompt in Notepad. Plan out what you want. Explain all the steps. Provide even more detail than you're used to. 3, use O1 Mini for tasks that don't require as much world knowledge, but following things through step by step. 4, O1 tends to give me the parts of the answer and the complete response, while O1 Mini will give me the steps. 5, in my anecdotal and highly subjective experience, when you make corrections or adjustments, use patience in explaining what you need changed. Models that reason respond well to reasoned responses. And then we have this tweet from Amar basically saying, just combine OpenAI O1 and Cursor Composer to create an iOS app in under 10 minutes. O1 Mini kicks off the project. O1 was talking too long to think, then switched to O1 to finish off the details. And boom, full weather app for iOS with animations in under 10 minutes. And the video sped up here. You can take a look at it, but it's basically just showing him building that out. So guys, this is going to be huge for coding. All right. This is like the perfect thing when it comes to coding. Very hard, certain reasoning tasks or issues with code, and it's going to be able to do this, right? So I'm very excited to start using this with Cursor. Here we have congrats to OpenAI for releasing O1. Economics, we have Tyler asked O1 basically to write a college essay. Genetics, Kat Brown asked O1 to help her reason through N of 1 cases, medical cases that nobody has ever seen. Physics, Mario used O1 to draft and reason through complex quantum physics equations. Code, Ren Honggu prompted a full snake game and it was generated 0 shot, working perfectly and beyond, and obeyed instructions to add obstacles. So this is just referencing some of the demo videos, and we'll take a look at some of these later, but here's a tweet to that. Here it also says O1 is the most persuasive language model ever, and then he references Sam Altman basically saying, I expect AI to be capable of superhuman persuasion well before it is superhuman at general intelligence, which may lead to some very strange outcomes. So I've mentioned this before in videos. If AI gets super persuasive, I mean, it's going to be kind of crazy. If you could talk to something that's essentially like a salesman for anything that could sell you and change your ideas on anything, I mean, it's going to be really crazy how, you know, you could use AI. You could like use it to convince you of things, or you convince other people of things, right? So there's pros and cons to that. But also too, there was information saying that how OpenAI, you know, Sam Altman, whatnot, had to basically show Strawberry to the government like a few weeks ago before they actually released it. So pretty interesting stuff. And then we have Greg Brockman, his tweet, OpenAI O1, our first model, pretty much just showing gratitude and going over his, you know, opinion on this whole model. Okay, now within this document, I gave basically a summary of some of the key features and performance benchmarks that we covered in that actual blog. So I'm not going to read through it all, but I will highlight some of the key points and also things that I want to talk to you guys about. So here's just what is O1, some key features. So reason through complex tasks, solve harder problems in science, coding, math, refine their thinking process, try different strategies, recognize their mistakes. The performance benchmarks we talked about. And one performance benchmark the blog post didn't talk about was the strawberry test, and it passed the test. So this is basically it, asking how many R's are in strawberry. There are 3 R's in the word strawberry. So this has kind of been like a meme in the AI space because ChatGPT couldn't, or GPT-4o or whatnot couldn't get that question right. And now OpenAI O1, of course, did pass it. And they've kind of been moving away from the GPT name. As you can see now, it's OpenAI O1. It's not GPT O1. It's the first model with this new framework and new paradigm. Okay, so here is the differences from previous models, and we touched on this as well, but basically it introduces a new approach that's for AI scaling that focuses on thinking time rather than just model size and training data. So the performance improves as it spends more time processing a problem, similar to how humans often benefit from taking more time to think through complex issues. This represents a significant shift in AI and how you can improve AI models and performance and capabilities. So here's some of the different ways that it's improved and different from the other models. A lot of these we talked about: training method, problem solving strategy, performance scaling, reinforcement learning, new scaling dimensions. So as Noam Brown mentioned, this approach opens a new dimension for scaling. It is no longer bottlenecked by pre-training data, as inference compute. It can now be scaled as well. All right, I also include 2 brief descriptions of what chain of thought is, as well as reinforcement learning, for those of you who may not know or aren't maybe, really want a refresher on it, because this is kind of the 2 main things that we know of, that we know for sure that this new model is really leveraging. Like, they haven't fully basically told us how it works, but yeah, it's what we do know about chain of thought and RL. So chain of thought is an approach that allows AI models to break down complex problems into a series of intermediate tasks, mimicking human-like reasoning. For O1, this means the model generates an internal chain of thought before producing a final answer. It can reason through multiple steps, refine its thinking, and correct mistakes along the way. This process is built into the model rather than requiring explicit prompting from users. So what does this mean, guys? Well, for those of you who may have been building a lot of different agents or different, prompt engineering, like prompt engineering has been such a huge thing. We're going in the direction where the everyday user is going to be able to speak in everyday language. And it's kind of adding, like in code, how there's different coding languages and different levels of abstractions from, like, say, binary coding. This is the same thing is going to be happening with AI models, where before, you're going to have to, like, use chain of thought prompting and like all these different prompt techniques to get an AI model to give you the desired output. As we're seeing now, and as we're going to continuously see in the future, it's going to get easier and easier. The model is going to do the thinking for you. The model is going to do the reasoning. The model is going to handle everything, all of that. All right, every little thing you could think of. So here's standard prompting. Here's chain of thought prompting. So, you're not going to, as of now, like, it's going to keep progressing, so you won't have to, be a master prompt engineer per se. But I do still think, as of now, it's really good to know these things, and it's still we're not there fully there yet. Okay. So reinforcement learning is a machine learning technique where an agent learns to make decisions by interacting with an environment and receiving feedback in the form of rewards or punishment. In the context of O1, the model is trained using a large-scale RM algorithm. It learns to think productively using its chain of thought. The model performance improves with more RL reinforcement learning training, train time compute, and more time spent thinking, test time compute. There's a diagram there explaining that. Now, applications and use cases, we've pretty much covered most of these, but yeah, some of them are here. Code generation, which is a big one for, you guys. I know a lot of devs, founders, whatnot are watching this, and this is you're gonna see a huge boom in builders. All right, people building things. All right, we'll go over that. I have a section on that, what this means for founders and devs in just a second. Advancements in problem solving in STEM fields. So basically solving problems in different fields, STEM, that, we just humans can't solve. So it's going to, we're getting to that point where this is going to start happening. And then availability and pricing. So we covered this, ChatGPT Plus users and API users on tier 5. And then O1 preview costs $15 per million input tokens and $60 per million output tokens. So pretty pricey. And then O1 mini is much more cost effective, priced at 80% less. All right, so the pricing's right here, and you can see right here, this is the context window, max tokens, training data, and the information about the models right here. You can find this in the backend side of the OpenAI API docs. And then implications for the future of AI. So advancements towards AGI. So this series represents significant leap towards AGI, showcasing human-like reasoning capabilities. And we kind of touched upon these. I did this video 9 months ago on Q-Star, and basically, you know, everyone was talking about the Q-Star leak. If you don't know about Q-Star, then there was like Strawberry, there was Orion, whatever. I don't know, I guess, well, this one, I guess is Strawberry. I don't know if it's like, if this is Q-Star or if this is just a small glimpse of like Q-Star, and maybe they have like a much more powerful model in the back end. Obviously, they definitely have more powerful models or whatnot, but this is what they're releasing to the public, I believe. And anyways, yeah, we kind of talked about like Q-Star and like similar to what we're seeing with O1 and like how the different concepts that we talked about in that video regarding to Q-Star, it kind of makes sense with what we're seeing. And anyways, paradigm shift in AI development. So talked about that, potential impacts on various industries, science research, software dev, data analysts, and then challenges in AI evaluation. So like I said before, as models continue to surpass human level performance on certain tasks, there needs to be new benchmarks and evals to accurately assess AI capabilities. And then potential for breakthrough discoveries, the advanced reasoning capabilities of O1 could lead to new solutions in complex fields like physics, chemistry, biology, etc. If you haven't seen my video on my thesis on AI coding, I would definitely recommend checking it out. I also leave a link to the doc right here, so you can check those two out. And then here's my advice to you guys: all the AI, for all the business builders, coders, entrepreneurs, whatever, you're watching this video, you're like, how do I start implementing O1? And I'm gonna do more videos actually showing implementation of O1. And like doing coding, doing cool stuff with it. So make sure to smash that like button and smash that subscribe button to stay up to date. We upload videos every single day on AI, automation, business growth, etc. But my advice for you right now, if the last 2 to 3 years haven't been enough evidence for some of you, my advice is go all in on AI. You know, in your business, in learning it, in implementing it, etc. Like speed is key. Go all in, really, you know, maximize your time of the day, be productive, don't be lazy. There's never been a time like this in human history and just anything where you can learn a new skill so quickly, you can build things so quickly. Things are changing so quickly though, so you gotta be on top of it or else you're gonna be left behind, okay? And yeah, this channel is one of the ways that, you know, I'm trying to do that, but I'm also trying to help you guys do that. So if you feel like you get value from this type of content, make sure to subscribe, like I said, to stay up to date, but also be always learning your own stuff, watching other content, you know, be on Twitter, following different thought leaders in the space. And then implications for coders, builders, and business builders. So for devs and entrepreneurs building businesses or SaaS applications, the O1 model and its scaling approach offers several potential benefits and considerations. So improved code gen. The O1 mini model, which is more cost effective, is particularly effective at coding tasks. This could significantly enhance code generation and debugging processes, especially if you're using like tools like Cursor. And then complex workflow automation. So the model's advanced reasoning capabilities make it suitable for building and executing multi-step workflows, potentially automating complex business processes. And then potential for innovation. So the advanced reasoning capabilities will enable rapid development of more sophisticated AI-powered tools and applications, opening up new business opportunities and markets for those who take advantage of it. So like I said, guys, my big, if you haven't gotten anything from this video, the big takeaway is speed is key. Don't sleep on this. Like this is just a start, but this is just a glimpse into the new paradigm and the new trajectory we're moving with AI, Strawberry. And, you know, this is also going to potentially, well, I mean, just in general, this is going to increase competition with other, you know, competitors such as Claude, Anthropic. You know, I'm guessing probably within the next month or two max, we'll probably see 3.5 Haiku and Opus come out, right? So I guess it breeds, you know, the competitive nature now that OpenAI finally actually dropped something and they're just releasing it directly. There's no wait list or anything like that. So that's good on the plus side, but let me know what your thoughts are on all this, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on Strawberry O1. Have you used this model? Are you planning on using it? How are you planning on using it, guys? As well as, yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I said, this whole resource will be in the description down below, guys, so definitely check that out. You can download it, use it, reference it, whatever the case may be, and I'll continue to keep you guys posted on the O1 news, O1 updates, and I'm going to make some tests on this to test O1, see how it actually, you know, performs in real world use cases, as well as using it with tools like Cursor and other ones to actually see how we can build cool shit with it. All right, guys, so make sure to subscribe to stay tuned. Also, check out our free Discord channel and Facebook group, stridecommunity.com. Link will be in the description down below as well. It's linked right here. I will see you in tomorrow's video, guys. Keep hustling, keep grinding, and of course, guys, accelerate your stride. Take care.
I want to show an example of a coding prompt that O1 Preview is able to do, but previous models might struggle with. And the coding prompt is to write the code for a very simple video game called Squirrel Finder. And the reason O1 Preview is better at doing prompts like this is when it wants to write a piece of code, it thinks before giving the final answer. So it can use the thinking process to plan out the structure of the code, make sure it fits the constraints. So let's try pasting this in. And to give a brief overview of the prompt, the game Squirrel Finder basically has a koala that you can move using the arrow keys. Strawberries spawn every second and they bounce around, and you want to avoid the strawberries. After 3 seconds, a squirrel icon comes up, and you want to find the squirrel to win. And there are a few other instructions like putting OpenAI in the game screen and displaying instructions before the game starts, etc. So first you can see that the model thought for 21 seconds before giving the final answer. And you can see that during its thinking process, it is gathering details on the game's layout, mapping out the instructions, setting up the screen, etc. And so here's the code that it gave. And I will paste it into a window and we'll see if it works. So you've seen there's instructions, and let's try to play the game. Oh, the squirrel came very quickly. But, oops, this time I was hit by a strawberry. Let's try again. You can see that the strawberries are appearing, and let's see if I can win by finding the squirrel. Looks like I won.